Hey there guys, Elita Legionarii here, and today I am bringing you the second historical battle in the historical battle series that myself and SwedishLandsknekt have undertaken. This was the Battle of Tannerberg. As you know, I put a video out about just over a week ago saying that we were going to do this battle, and we've managed to do this battle over the weekend. It was a very interesting battle. Lots of great action in this battle, particularly in the cavalry department, and it was very exciting. So first of all, before I actually load the battles up and show you them, I just want to give a big thanks to everyone who participated. Thank you very much for your time and giving us a fantastic battle, which should hopefully make this a very interesting battle for us viewers to enjoy. I'd also like to thank you viewers and yourselves for being patient with me and Swedes on this. It took us a while to get this one organised because both of us were quite busy, and it just we had to work in together with our timing and all that, and we managed to get it together. So you know, you guys had to wait a bit longer, but thank you for your patience and your enthusiasm towards the series. We do very much appreciate it, and it bodes well for the series in the future. Now I didn't clarify this in the update video, and I just want to clarify it now. A few weeks ago I put out a video saying that the second historical battle would be the Battle of Marathon for Rome Total War. Now we did create a scenario for that, and it didn't work very well. It was very unbalanced, and we couldn't get it balanced. And it was an anticlimactic battle. It was very crappy. We couldn't get it to work. And that's why I haven't uploaded that particular battle, and we've gone on to Tannerberg instead. Now that does not mean we won't ever do the Battle of Marathon, but I think we'll probably end up doing the Battle of Marathon either with the Europa Barbarorum mod for Rome Total War, or probably most likely for Total War Rome 2, just because it would be easier that way. Basically, we just couldn't get it balanced enough. It was just too one-sided off of the Persian team. Really, they just keep wasting the Greek team. We really couldn't get it sorted. So that's why, if you're wondering, the Battle of Marathon, why it hasn't been done, that's why. Anyway, the Battle of Tannerberg, let's load her up. So in this battle, what we did was we realised, unlike the Siege of Acre, which was a 50-minute video, we had more time this time round. So what we did, both teams played with both factions. So in the first battle, the first part I'm going to show you, myself, the SwedishLandsknekt, and Heaven Clansman by Polish Legion took the Poles and the Lithuanians, and we faced off against the three Teutonic armies under Captain Invisible, Emperor the Great Unknown, and Vet from the Brotherhood clan. So that's what's going on with the first part. So we took the historical winners of the battle. Now, if those of you who don't know your history on this battle, basically what happened was there was over many generations, there was a massive breakdown in the relations between the Poles and the Teutons. Teutons were getting very aggressive, basically advancing their forces a lot, and the Poles become very intimidated and frightened by them, and to the point where they ended up at war with them, basically. Now, the original reasons of the Teutonic Order to be in this region and working was to fight the pagan Lithuanian peoples living in the Baltic region. Now, eventually, after a couple of centuries or thereabouts, 150 odd years or so, Lithuania actually became a Christian nation, or a Catholic nation, and basically the Teutons did not stop there, though. The Teutonic Order kept going, and eventually this really stirred up the Poles, and they were not able to kind of diplomatically deal with the problem. So eventually it got so much to the point that the now Catholic Lithuanians and the Poles actually allied, and in the year 1410 they met on the battlefield at Tannerberg, and ended up fighting one of the most famous battles in medieval history, the Battle of Tannerberg, which had very long-lasting implications for many people. It brought about the whole kingdom of Poland, Lithuania later on, which was a very powerful kingdom, sort of during the kind of 1700s, kind of that time. 1600s, 1700s, that time was a major power in that area of the world. and that was a direct result of this battle, with the Poles and Lithuania being victorious in the battle. The leaders were Grand Duke Vytautas, which is this guy here. He was in command of the Lithuanian army, and the Poles were led by King Wladyslaw, which is him here, and they were up against Ulrich von Unigen, who was the Grand Master of the Teutonic Order. And like I said, this would basically decide this battle who was going to be the master of the Baltic regions of basically of Northern Europe. So anyway, there's just a little bit of historical background. If you want to get into the real depths of it, you can look it up on Wikipedia or other sources. I could talk about it for ages, but I don't want to do that because it'll make the video too long, and I'm sure people will get bored listening to me. Anyway, in this battle, the Lithuanian army consists of a lot of cavalry. I've got the Grand Duke himself. Then I've got two of these Borgia, which are like similar to Chivalric Knights, although they use an axe, and they don't have quite as much higher stats as Chivalric Knights, but the axe gives them armor piercing, so it's a very nice piece of cavalry. Then my army consists of, I've got these guys here. These are the how do I say them? These are Kisian horsemen. I don't know. Lithuania was known for its excellent light cavalry and horse archers, so that's what I've got. I've got three of these. Then I've got I believe it was two Cuman horse archers. The Cumans were well known as horse archers, excellent light cavalrymen as well. Then I've got some cavalry militia. I believe these are javelin men. And then I've got, where are they? I know they're here somewhere. Yeah, in the back here, I've got two units of these Tatar lancers. The Tatars were excellent cavalrymen as well. So the Lithuanian strength lies in the superb cavalry contingent. All their light cavalry is very, very good. And it is definitely the attacking wing of this alliance. The other armies are more defensive in orientation. But the Lithuanians have the role of attacking in this particular setup of battle. The central Polish army was under the command of SwedishLandsknekt. Basically, we felt Polish wanted this sort of smaller army. He felt more confident working with less number of units. So Swedes took this army, and I always love using lots of cavalry. So we kind of put our guys into areas we thought would be the best. To work into what areas. So I'm pretty good with using lots of cavalry. I love using cavalry units. Swedes is just a good all-rounder, and Polish Legion prefers not having to micro massive amounts of units, so this was smaller army was appropriate for him. Swedes army consists of 5 units of Halberd militia, and then he's got Wladyslaw the king. Then he's got, I believe he has 1 free company men-at-arms, which is like a sort of English noble type unit, same sort of thing. These are some of the units that have been specialised for this for this scenario. Then he's got dismounted mercenary German knights. Then he's got, I believe it is 3 Puvvies crossbowmen, and then he's got 2 units of Polish retainers, which are a very flexible, sort of medium to heavy type cavalry, very useful little unit, very fast around the field but very hard hitting. All Polish cav, as you know, is excellent. In Polish Legion, he's got a bit of a mixture army. He's got these 3 peasant archers. Then he's got 3 spear militia, which are rather rubbishy units here. But then he's got 3 rather heavily upgraded Polish knights, and then 2 heavily upgraded Polish knight cavalry. So he's got kind of a really strong, like 5 really strong units and 5 very weak units. So a bit of a mixed force there for him. So that is the Polish alliance. Let me just fast forward it through to the Teutonic forces. Hold on a minute just to see how long it's going to take. Shouldn't take too long. This battle's not entirely, they're not very quick, so that's why I'm taking my time with these videos, because they're quite quick rather, so I'm taking my time. Right, so directly opposite me we had, whoa, why is it, hold on, sorry about that, I didn't realise I'd done that. We had Vet from the Brotherhood. He has got, his army consists of 11 cavalry units. He's got 2 units of mercenary German knights, 1 Christ knight, 1 Netchin, and 1 French chivalric knight. Most of those represent the mercenaries that were in the Teutonic army. Then he's got I believe it's 3 units of Halbbruder, which actually means half brothers, I believe. They were half brothers of the Teutonic Order, which kind of means they're halfway full knights, I think is how that works. Then he's got 2 units of Ritterbruder, which are the excellent super heavy cavalry of the Teutonic Order. Extremely good, very, very good heavy cavalry. Then we have Emperor of the Unknown, of the Great Unknown in the back. He's taken up the smaller army. He's got some mercenary German. This is the mercenary army. This is really most of the mercenary. He's got some mercenary German knights, same cav and dismounted, and then the free company men at arms. That's his army, and then the mainstay force and the Grand Master, which, as you can see, he looks very awesome with his sort of Gothic plate, Ritterbruder mixture armour. This is under the command of Captain Invisible. So he's got the Unigan there with the Ritterbruders, then he's got a Halbbruder and another Ritterbruder here. He's got 3 dismounted Ritterbruder heavy infantry, then he's got, looks like he's got 3 dismounted Halbbruder, which are halberd men, and then he's got a bombard here, so 2 bombards rather, and then he's got he's 6 units of Order spearmen and 2 Livonian auxiliary crossbowmen. Now, in the actual battle, this battle is well represented here. The Teutonics had a very, very strong heavy knights and infantry, and they held a strong defensive position. So in this fight, we knew that we were going to attack, so the battle plan was pretty simple. I'm going to move out onto the right wing here. Swedes is going to send his cav to support me, and Polish and Swedes are going to hold back over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick apart as many of these cavalry as I can, hopefully draw Vet out. Let me just turn that music down, that seems really loud. Yeah, that is really loud. So yeah, at this stage, Vet pulls out these guys here, and this is a good start for us because I actually want to pick apart these units individually, which is what we're going for here. So I'm bringing up my horse archers on the right wing. The Lithuanian army is definitely the attacking power of this alliance. In terms of style of play, what this team wants to do, the Poles and Lithuanians want to skirmish. They have a skirmishing superiority. They have more crossbowmen, they have more archers, and they have the horse archers. And the speed and the kind of what they want to do is whittle down the heavy knights of the Teutonic Order, because pound for pound the knights are going to be able to, or the Teutonic Order are stronger knights. However, there was one factor in this battle that I think rather unbalanced it. We sort of found towards the end was the amount of upgrades on the Polish-Lithuanian team was much higher than on the Teutonic team, which does have an influence on this particular battle. So at this stage, I'm just going to skirmish with Vet's cav. Now he's in loose formation, which is logical for what he's trying to do here, but it means if our heavy cavalry get into him, they'll not be in the correct formation to deal with a heavy cavalry fight. But I'm just going to skirmish out here. As you can see, my allies are not doing a lot at the moment. It's just all the action out here, which is very much what happened in the real life, that the Lithuanians used their light cavalry units to draw out the heavy knights so that these guys could advance unopposed. Because pound for pound, those heavy knights of the Teutonic Order are better. Now Swedes is going to advance here, get his Polish retainers into battle with these mercenary German knights and French knights here. So we have a lot of cavalry action here. Now this plan is very simple. We're going to tie down as many of Vet's forces over here as we can. I also forgot to mention I have 2 units of spears. I have dismounted Tatar Lancer and I have these Estonian rebels. Both are spear units. I'm using them to support Swedes when he needs it. So we've got some nice melee going on here. All the while I've managed to separate this Netchin light cavalry, which I routed, and then I'm going to start chipping away at more of these forces. These Christ knights coming to try and catch me, but I'm going to get out because my cavalry is quicker. And all the while I'm going to be able to tie them down. I'm bringing in my general and my heavy knights over here and my spearmen. Swedes is in a closed order fight here. Now pound for pound, this is a pretty, actually these units are pretty even in terms of their abilities here now, but I do believe the Polish units have more upgrades, and this was something that we noticed gave the Poles and Lithuanians a little bit of an edge in this fight, was because they had more upgrades on their men. And I think that was done to compensate cavalry units used by Poland-Lithuania, by the Teutonic Order rather. Now here though, once I bring my cavalry in, we cause a chain rout, and these guys rout. They're also under constant barrage by heavy archer fire. Now here we saw the Ritterbrugers. This is actually the general of Vet, and I thought, we wanted to try and push and get these guys here. If we look up through the middle, we can see that these guys are advancing and they are under cannon attack, but we've got a missile supremacy, so we should be able to take a missile fight. So here we see the Livonian auxiliaries are opening up, but this should be a fairly even sort of missile duel here. The action is mostly engaging out over here. As you can see, I'm pushing up and just chipping away at these guys. Swedes brings up his retainers here, so I need to get up here and support him because these guys regrouped. But we wanted to catch these Ritterbrugers out and take them out because this was the general's unit, and we knew that would have a detrimental morale effect. Emperor the Unknown told us that he had made it so that the loss of generals was punishing to the quite punishing. So over here I notice one of these regrouped German knights charges in, but I'm on their flank with missile units. One of these Netchiners here, I'm not too bothered about them. I do pull back a little bit, but they rout pretty much straight away. Then I bring in my Borgia Regia here and get a nice side charge, and we've got these guys tied down, and these guys rout again. Up through the centre, here's where we see some action here, some aggressive action by Captain Invisible and Emperor the Unknown. They charge here at Polish Legion. As you can see, Polish Legion's bringing some of his guys this way. Swedes has left his general, and I brought my infantry over here to support as well. So I'm kind of microing on two ends of the field. But Emperor the Unknown and Captain Invisible make an aggressive push onto Polish Legion. Good move here because we're getting the upper hand on the other flank. But as you can see, the action's really going on here. Charges come down. But the Polish units do have more upgrades, which is giving them the edge. It's compensating for their lower quality units quite a bit over here, but as you can see, it's gotten off to a very good start for the Teutonic Order on that side. Up over here, I'm pushing up on these guys. Now at this stage of the battle, I think Vet made an error. I noticed he ended up sitting around quite a long time with these heavy knights. I think that he should have moved to support these guys over here, because they were getting a really nice breakthrough over here. They concentrated their attack very, very well. Here, one of my guys gets a bit singled out. Fortuitously for me, they don't get their lances down very quickly, and I was in an elusive formation, so I don't really take any losses. At this stage, I'm bringing my light cavalry back this way, and I'm going to use my horse archers just to keep picking away at Vet. Now, he can't catch me, so what I think he should really do is move around and attack on this other wing, support this attack, because I think they're doing well with their attack here, but there is one problem that I've noticed with their attack, is it's not supported. There are no infantry supporting this attack. This cavalry is isolated, so even though they've started well, their cavalry is isolated, and as you can see, it's being driven off by Polish Legion and my own infantry units and Swedes over here. We've driven it off because there was nothing supporting it, and I think that was an error on their part. Now at this stage, Vet knows he needs to do something, so what I do here is he charges in, I bring in my spearmen just to tie him down, but I can take my time over here. I can pick away at his flanks here with my guys. There's not much he can do about this, which is why I think you need to change the direction of the attack. I think they need to get aggressive over here and attack, because the longer they wait, the more I can just chip away at the flank here with my missile units, and these guys can just chip away at with their crossbowmen over here. And honestly, that gives them the edge, because as you can see, this attack, although it was well executed and they did do a lot of damage, they were isolated and separately destroyed. Captain Invisible has managed to withdraw a few, but overall the losses to their cavalry, they were sort of individually attacking, which wasn't good. Over here I take a cavalry charge right up against Vet's Halbruder here. My guys have got more upgrades, and my guys pound for pound against his Halbruder are actually every bit as good. And I've got lots of missile support coming around. Now there's some Halbruder over here, but again, I got my horse archers that are just constantly nipping at him, and there's nothing he can really do about it. Which is again why I think defending as the Teutonic Order was not the way to go, because they could not out-skirmish. And the thing is, when you're going to defend, you need to have skirmishing superiority, otherwise the enemy's just going to chip away at you until you lose your men. And ultimately, we had more skirmish, so we could skirmish with them. They could not with us. They had to use that heavy cavalry to get a massive knockout blow. And I felt they just didn't do that. And as you can see, we've been able to chip away at these heavy Teutonic cavalry over here because they couldn't catch us. Now over here I was thinking of making a quick strike against these Order Spearmen. Not Order Spearmen, sorry, these Livonian auxiliaries, but I managed to disengage and pull out. So over here, the skirmish is going on pretty evenly, although I did notice that Swedes didn't put his men directly in front. He's got his men firing over his own men's head, which is less efficient. So even with all that, he's still winning this fight. So now they're sending more guys out here, but as you can see, anything that keeps regrouping is just constantly getting chipped at and shot up by my horse archers. And my horse archers, as you can see, are just totally untouched. They've been running around the field just absolutely levelling their heavy cavalry. We use our own heavy cavalry to pin them down, then horse archers to shoot them to pieces, and it's worked very well. So over here, we charge into these guys over here with my heavy cavalry, try and catch them out. Now it's a bit clumpy there, so that wasn't the best charge on my part, but I got Swedes with me in support. Now they're bringing in some of their Ritterbruder here, so what I'm going to do is I noticed that if you look, between myself and Swedes have more or less destroyed this flank of heavy cavalry, so the idea I'm going to go with here is to tie down these Ritterbruder and Hellbruder with my heavy infantry, which should be able to hold them down for a while. And I'm going to have to get some nice rear charges and crush them, because as you can see through the centre, the Poles have now fully engaged, and the spearmen are actually fighting the centre now. The spearmen are better than these halberds, but it's the Ritterbruder and Hellbruder that want to be in this middle fight, because they will be able to beat these Poles, but they're not really. It's mostly the spearmen that have got engaged here. So, in terms of infantry fight, again, the Teutonic Order has better infantry, but we noticed that the upgrades on the Poles was quite huge, and that really didn't help the Teutonic Order, a lot, because it negated the Teutonic Order's superiority of quality by having sheer upgrades on the Polish units. Over here I got my Samoga and Axemen against these free men-at-arms. They are actually losing, but that should go on for quite a while. Over here his Ritterbruder are fighting against my Axemen here, Samoga and Axemen, and some of my Borgia, which are using an axe. That's a fight the Ritterbruder will win, because Ritterbruder are supremely powerful heavy infantry. But the result is my cavalry is now behind the lines in massive numbers, and I see Vet's general here, so I'm going to try and catch him out, take him out of the picture, and there goes one of their generals. I believe that was Emperor the Unknown's general. Over here now we see that Captain Invisible's made a good move. He sees the amount of pressure that's coming on this flank, so he gets behind it, and it's just a race to see who can wrap up the flank here. But it's going pretty well for Captain Invisible. He's compensating for his guys, and he is getting the superiority of his numbers down, superiority of his quality down with numbers, and that's working well. But myself and Swedes have completely broken through the back of their lines, and I got some nice rear charges in on these Ritterbruder and Hellbruder. And as you can see, my infantry is now free to start wheeling the flank, and they get a nice rear charge down onto these guys here. And Polish Legion has got his cavalry, and Swedes is using his missile units, and they're holding up Captain Invisible, even though Captain's doing a good job now. Whose general was that? That was one of the Swedes, or I think that was Polish Legion. I think Swedes' general's still strong. The King's still strong. At this stage, Vet admits defeat because I've rolled into his flank, and we now have them outflanked. And at this stage, we get another one of the Teutonic generals down. And at this stage, as you can see, this area is broken through. I've broken through here, and this Teutonic cav is basically on its own. It's just the Captain Invisible's general there, which is Unigan, and as you can see, the infantry fight is also wearing down on them. Only this flank is holding. Now, unfortunately, what's happening here, even though we've got them totally surrounded, Polish Legion, his computer crashed or something, and it actually killed the game before the battle ended, which was really very annoying. We were very annoyed and disappointed by this. But you can see what's happened at this stage. The Teutonic units are outflanked, and they're in mass rout basically all around the field. And I've still got horses galore, and I've still got at least half my ammunition left at this stage, and we've still got lots of heavy cavalry and enough heavy infantry to pin it. So Captain Invisible certainly has put up a very good fight over here, but Vet was quite quickly destroyed by all my horse archers and Swedes' heavy cavalry in support of my heavy cavalry. And the Emperor of the Unknown supported where he could, but his army was relatively smaller. Here's some of his Ritterbruder here, just get a nice charge against them, although that's just my horse archers, they won't do that much damage against them. But yeah, it was, as you can see, the Teutonic troops are just starting to rout pretty much en masse all around the field. There's 1 or 2 units left, but it was a foregone conclusion that the Poles and the Lithuanians had won round 1 of the battle. But unfortunately, that's where Polish Legion lost its connection or crashed or something, and it didn't recover for any of us, which was unfortunate. But I think in this first part of the battle, it goes to show that the overly defensive approach from our opponents was not a good one, because they couldn't defend adequately against our missile units, because we had 6 missile units in the front, and then we had about 6 horse archers. That gave us about 11 or 12 missile units all up, and they only had 2 Livonian auxiliaries, so we definitely had a skirmishing edge. So playing defensively was not an option for these guys, and that's why I think, even though in reality that's what the Teutonic Order did, it's basically, this battle panned out just like what happened in real life. The heavy cavalry got drew out by the horse archers, isolated, and then basically up through the centre the Poles were able to attack and destroy the central region, and the horse archers just chipped away at the heavy cavalry, and by the time the heavy cavalry came back it was over. And that's pretty much what happened. So this battle was almost a repeat of history here. So the first round, we have history repeating itself. Now, unfortunately, I can't show the statistics, but I do remember, at least on my screen, Captain Invisible had very high kills. He had about 1,250 kills. I think Emperor the Unknown had about 400 to 500, and Vet had about 350. He did not do very well because he was not able to tie down any of my horse archers, and every time he got his cavalry out there, my own heavy cavalry and Swedes' heavy cavalry pinned it, and then we could use the horse archers just to chip away at them. I think, personally, trying to attack the Lithuanian player is pointless because the Lithuanian player is too fast. I think what you need to do is to busy up, distract, or tie down the Lithuanian player long enough for you to make a decisive blow and take out the Poles in the central region with the heavy cavalry. I think that's the key to the Teutonic victory. I don't think a defensive strategy is viable for them because they just don't have enough tools to defend. When you are in a defensive strategy, you need to have missile supremacy, and you just don't have, the Teutons just don't have it, and you can't rely on those bombard cannons because bombards are terribly inaccurate. You have if they had more missile units, if they'd had 5 or 6 crossbowmen, I would have said yes, a defensive strategy would be very viable for the Teutonic Order, but they just don't have enough. And we took this into consideration in the next, when we swapped sides and played as the Teutons. Also, for myself, Swedes and Polish, I had about 500 kills, Swedes had about 600 kills, and Polish had about 300 kills. Now, had the battle gone completely to the end, it would have been more for us, but that was the end statistics. So hopefully you enjoyed the first part. Now, like I said, we swapped teams and played it again, so next time you'll see myself and Swedes take command of the Teutonic Order, so I'll link that in right away. Okay guys, back to the second part of the battle. This time you'll see myself, the SwedishLandsknekt, take the Teutonic Order. Now, this because we did the first battle, the first part on Saturday night, or on Saturday, we only had time. We didn't have a lot of time. Not everyone had enough time, so we were only able to do it once. So we only got that first battle. So we didn't manage to get every single player who was in the first battle back for the second. We got most of them, but not all of them. So we got me and Swedes for the Teutonic side, but instead of having Polish, we have Mikel Zepplin, who's taking the mercenary army of the Teutonic team. Mikel is a seasoned Medieval 2 player, and is definitely a good player out there. So it was nice to have him aboard for this battle. Now, for the enemy team, we had Captain Invisible with Lithuania, we had Emperor the Unknown with the Poles in the centre, and Polish Legion, again, he could not be separated from his beloved Poles, so he took the same army again as Poland. So in this particular battle, we took into account that the defensive strategy employed by Captain Invisible, Emperor the Unknown, and Vet did not work because they could not tie down Lithuania. So in this battle, myself and SwedishLandsknekt came up with a plan. What we were going to do is we were going to send half of my cavalry out like this, my German knights, my French knights, and my Netchen, supporting by 2 of Swede's spearmen and his Livonian auxiliaries, and we're going to busy up and tie down Captain's Lithuanians. We were going to then take all my Hellbruder and Ritterbruder, all the heavy cavalry of Swedes, and all the heavy cavalry of Mikel Zepplin, and a heavy infantry, and we were going to absolutely smash straight in to the Polish army and try and smash it on the side, because we noticed in the last fight that Captain Invisible had encountered significant success with his cavalry against Polish Legion's flank here. There wasn't enough of cavalry and enough infantry support to get a rout going there. So we wanted to take into account that that would work, because as I said in the last part of the video, the Teutonic team only has 2 missiles, whereas the enemy team has 6-foot missiles and about 5 horse archers, which gives them 11 missile units to 2. There is no way that 2 missile units can hope to defeat 11 missile units in a defensive strategy. So defense is just not a logical option for the Teutonic Order, because they cannot tie down that Lithuanian army. But what they can do is they can occupy it long enough. So our plan was to try and crush the Polish army, because you notice the Polish central army is made up of halberds, whereas our guys have got heavy Ritterbruder and Hellbruder and everything like that. We have more powerful infantry and more powerful cavalry, so we were going to use that to our advantage. So that's the first part. However, well, we looked over this battle again, and everyone who played in it was able to agree that it wasn't actually all that balanced. At face value, the armies appear to be more powerful for the Teutonic Order, but the problem was that the units of Poland and Lithuania had about 4 to 5 times as much upgrades, and that combined with the fact that the Polish-Lithuanian team had almost 1,000 more men, really made it more balanced in favour of the Polish-Lithuania team. At face value, it really appeared like the Teutonic Order had the edge, but in reality, the edge really lies with the Poles and the Lithuanians, because the units are more heavily upgraded. Now, in the battle, the Poles and the Lithuanians didn't have the quality troops, but they had the numbers, and Emperor the Unknown was trying to represent that and trying to balance it properly. He had problems balancing these battles, and it can be quite difficult, because if you get lots of crappy units and don't give them enough upgrades, they won't be able to hold up against the heavy troops. But if you give them too many upgrades in conjunction with the heavy numbers, then it'll counteract the quality that the Teutonic Order has here. And unfortunately, that's kind of what happened. So immediately off the bat, we see Captain Invisible will copy pretty much what I did. He's going to get very aggressive and push, because as I said in the last part of the battle, Lithuania is like the fist of the Polish team, whereas the Poles are more like an anchor or an anvil, with a few supporting units. So he's going to push up out here. Now what we were doing is I was getting my cavalry organised here, and Swedes was going to rush, and I was going to bring these guys up and hopefully tie down as much of Lithuania as I can. Now I don't expect these guys over here to be able to defeat Lithuania. I don't even expect them to be able to do any real damage to them, but what I do want them to do is just busy up Captain Invisible long enough for the destruction of the Polish and the 2 Polish armies in the centre. So Swedes advances up. Now we make a fatal error here. We did not advance our cavalry at a pace that was similar to the infantry on this flank. You'll see what I mean. Captain Invisible makes an excellent, superb move. He sees that this cavalry of mine, I have not brought it up fast enough, and I've brought all the other cavalry this way. So what does he do? He sees the isolated heavy infantry of SwedishLandsknekt, and he goes at it with his heavy cavalry. This was an absolutely superb move. This is going to disrupt Swedes' lines. It's going to destroy some of these heavy infantry, meaning these guys are going to have an advantage against them later on. Now I try tying down these guys. Swedes is using his missile units and his spears to support me. I'm trying to tie them down with my heavy knights here. And again, I don't expect them to win. I in fact expect their destruction will be pretty imminent. Mikel Zeppelin comes in here to support Swedes, but Swedes is taking a pretty big beating. Now these infantry tie them down. So let me just pause, because our fight was really short. Swedes has lost 1/4 of his infantry to this section because it's tied down over here, which means he's got to fight all this infantry, probably nearly 3 times as much infantry, which has got more upgrades than him with these lesser infantry. Over this flank we realise the danger we're in, so we're going to push over here. Now my cavalry units start to mass rout over here almost immediately with almost nothing to gain for it. I was really hoping that they would survive longer than that just to tie Captain Invisible down, but his attack was so aggressive and so well executed that my guys routed almost immediately under the pressure. There's not a lot we can do. So what do we do over here? We charge through over here to try and take down Emperor the Unknown and Polish Legion. Now the thing is here, these guys had silver upgrades, and Polish Knights, as you know, are some of the better cavalry in medieval two-total war, so we could not get a quick breakthrough over here like we needed. And as you can see, Swedes gets his infantrymen in, but these guys are still holding him, and we are not breaking this flank fast enough. But if you look over here, Mikel Zepplin has not been able to support the attack because he's had to put units in here to tie Lithuania down, and he does do quite a bit of damage here, but Lithuania is tied down, but it is not coming together all that well. Now here was a charge against these halberds. Now you don't want to charge halberds because look at the kind of result you get when the enemy cavalry comes in that result, so you don't want to do that. Over on this flank, as you can see, pound for pound, these Polish cavalry are actually better than ours, even though not because they are better cavalry. Well, the Polish Knights are better than Hellbruder. They are not better than Ritterbruder though, but they have more upgrades, and we couldn't breach this. Like eventually, given time, I think we could have, but we could not breach it. And I mean, we're getting lots of charges in here and everything, but as you can see, Swedes is just not. He's not getting his break, and it's not working. And as you can see, Mikel is doing a nice job holding down Lithuania, but we needed his infantry for this battle. And because of that excellent cavalry charge delivered by the start by Captain Invisible, this flank completely breaks open, and now Captain Invisible is totally free to flank these guys in the back here. And even though we are getting some nice charges in over here, this Polish cavalry, even though it's outnumbered, fighting twice as many cavalry, because of its upgrades, it's not being defeated. It's actually winning. And Swedes, as you can see, just got hammered in the flank there, and right through the centre. And I decided bringing in my guys. By the time I get my guys in behind to execute some rare charges, Swede's centre is completely collapsed. Only Captain Invisible's really done any damage over here, where he's managed to do quite a bit of damage to Lithuania, but not enough. And as you can see, our troops just couldn't, we could not break, even though we amassed our cavalry. We had like 10 cavalry over here against about 4 and a few infantry, and we just couldn't break through these poles. They were winning the entire time. And I mean, I managed to run a few rear charges and stuff like that, but I've got nothing to pin. Nothing's pinning these Polish troops anymore. So I mean, it's just not going anywhere for us, you know. That was a superb strike by Captain Invisible, but we were really stunned by how ineffective our heavy cavalry was against those Poles. I mean, we had so much of it and got some really good charges, and we had that opposition, but everyone noticed just how one-sided this particular battle was. Our infantry couldn't break these halberds, and that's the problem. There was just so many upgrades on the Polish troops that we came to realise that even though the Teutonic Order has better men, the sheer amount of numbers and upgrades on the Polish troops negates that completely. And we only managed to just scrape by killing half their army. So they really decisively crushed our attack. I mean, it just was absolutely just a total one-sided affair. And I mean, this Polish cavalry, there's only about 3 or 4 of them, and we had about at least 8 heavy cavalry, and we lost. Basically, compensating, the numbers were just not there. I mean, our attack was a wee bit clumsy in places because of just how disorganised we got by the excellent attack made by Captain Invisible. But the upgrades in this fight were just in the favour of the Polish team. It's no fault of Emperor the Unknown. He tried his best to balance it, and at face value, it appeared like the Teutonic army was stronger. But the upgrades on the Polish-Lithuanian team makes all the difference. And as hard as we tried to be aggressive, because we saw how ineffective the defensive strategy was in the last game, so we figured attack was the way to go. But as it turned out, we could not break our opponent on this flank nearly fast enough to stop the Lithuanians from destroying our army. So at this stage, we've only killed 60% of their army. It is a decisive victory for the Poles and Lithuanians. So both games are going to end in a victory for Poland and Lithuania. So history is preserved, basically. The Teutonic Order could not overcome this, and I think partly the tactics employed in both battles by the Teutonic Order was perhaps not the best, but the Polish-Lithuanian army is just stronger. It is a stronger army. It's just got more upgrades. The units don't seem as tough or as strong, but the upgrades, they're much heavier upgrades. So we might revisit this battle at some point, but as you can see, it's a clear defeat for us in this game. Swedes has just made it over 900 if you include his captures. I have just made it over 500, and Captain Invisible's only got 290 there. But I mean, look at, not Captain Invisible, sorry, Mikel Zeppelin's just with his captures has just got over 300. But again, Captain Invisible breaks the 1,000. He did very well in both these battles. I take my hat off to Captain. He did a fantastic job in both battles. But as you can see, those Polish armies there, they just didn't. That cavalry just did not collapse at all, even though we amassed it, because we noticed in that first battle, Vet could not catch Lithuania. There was nothing he could do with Lithuania, so we knew that trying to fight Lithuania in that capacity again would just not work, especially in the hands of someone as talented as Captain Invisible. He's a good medieval 2 player. He knows his way around the medieval battlefield, if you will, with his men, and we just couldn't make that work. But what we thought we could do was to tie down Lithuania and amass our cavalry, about 10 units of cavalry, and try and smash through the Polish flank there against the third army here that's just got the 800 men. But in all honesty, that heavy cavalry of Poland just didn't want to break. We couldn't get it to break. This is Swede stats here. The dismounted Ritterbruder did well, but probably not well enough. They probably need to be getting over 100 kills. His infantry did do quite well, but all round, the aggressive attack made on him by Captain Invisible was very good. This is my guys here. As you can see, some of my cavalry, I mean, look at these mercenary German knights. They're just like pretty much routed straight away. The Hellbruder got smashed up by the Polish cav. And then and then Mikel Zeppelin down here, he did pretty well with his very small army. But overall, we found that, and both players agreed, Captain, all players who were involved in this found that the Teutonic team was just the Teutonic army, at face value, appeared to be very, very strong, and it had very good units, but they had like no upgrades, and then the amount of upgrades that Poland and Lithuania had were very, very high, particularly the Poles, and they were able to basically just outplay you with their men there. So I mean, if we look at this army here, the Poles have probably yeah, they have over 1,000 more men than the Teutonic army, which was historic. But the problem was they had a lot more upgrades at the same time, which basically means the Polish-Lithuanian team had more men with more upgrades, and that usually means that that army's got the advantage, and in this case it was. No matter how well both teams played with the Teutonic Order, we just couldn't make it work. But I'm going to have to say, if I'm going to give out the medal for the best player in the Battle of Tannerberg, it's got to be Captain Invisible. He played extremely well in both games, getting over 1,000 kills in both games. Overall, it was definitely a lot of fun, but history could not be rewritten. The Poles and the Lithuanian will was too strong, and they will maintain their title as victors of Tannerberg. But bear in mind, we may revisit this battle one day in the future if there's enough desire for it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this series. Well, not series not, what am I talking about? The Battle of Tannerberg. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I think it was an excellent battle. We had excellent players involved, lots of action, some wonderful cavalry action, especially out there on the right wing in both games. A bit of a shame that second battle was just such a ass kicking for the Teutonic team, but nonetheless it was a very good game. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Now before I go, we've been talking about what the third historical battle in the series is going to be, and so far we definitely want to do something from the Roman period, and the battle we've got in mind is the Battle of Vesontio, which was fought between Julius Caesar and his Roman legions against King Ariovistus of the Suebi, or the Germanic tribe known as the Suebi. So we're thinking that we'll use either Europa Barbarum to do it, so we can continually hold on to our Rome Total War viewers, because Rome Total War is just it's hard to balance them on Rome Total War, these scenarios, which makes it harder, and we'd actually quite like to do it on Rome 2 as well, so we're not entirely sure. So either way, that'll be the next battle, the Battle of Vesontio, which will be an excellent battle. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be seeing you soon next time.